What's going on, everybody? We are back. Hurricanes just completed their third week, and they're 3-0. And Cholo and I, Fernando and I, we are super excited. I'm joined again by Fernando. We did some other videos in the past regarding the U. That's right. You got to throw up the U. They deserve it.
Gotta do it, baby.
They deserve it. Let me tell you something. UAB, then Louisville, and then the slobber knocker against Florida State, where we just smashed them across the floor there. It was glorious. I was at the game, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, you got to replay.
We got it on replay at the crib.
Let's just spend the podcast. Let's just watch the game together. I can watch it all day.
Yeah.
All right, so Fernando, the first 3 weeks, UAB, Louisville, FSU. During the UAB game, I even sent you a message. I was like, this is why I did not want to open up against anybody else other than someone like a UAB or Temple or whatever. That was my reasoning. Now we understand that Rhett Lashlee, he ran the ball a ton. I mean, he barely passed the ball. He just passed here and there. He ran it seemed like 50 times or whatever it was, and it worked. He got 300 and something yards out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to do. We know he wasn't going to show the playbook. Louisville, just exploded out of the gate with just offense, and it was glorious to watch. And
Absolutely.
Then Florida State was just a complete beatdown of our little sister from up north. So, what have you, Fernando? What say you regarding the first 3 games of the Hurricanes?
Well, you already know. We talked about it a little bit off air, and the biggest thing with me is the progression that you're seeing from this team. So you're seeing, Manny Diaz, the seat was hot after last year, losing to FIU, losing to Louisiana State. The seat was hot. So what happens in this offseason? The transfer portal, the biggest things he did was bring in Lashlee and bring in De'Ara King. And the right tackle Williams too. But the transfer portal has been our best friend. And our coaching has been great. It's obvious because against UAB, people want to say, oh, they didn't look good. Wow, it's the same old Canes. We put up 350 yards rushing on a UAB team that's better than FIU, that's better than Louisiana Tech that we lost to last year in the same conference. And we looked a whole lot better, which UAB does have NFL prospects on their team. So we went from Louisville, from UAB to the Louisville game. And what happens? We look a whole bunch better. And you're starting to see some more wrinkles from Rhett Lashlee's offense, getting Jalen Knighton open. Cam Harris having that 75-yard touchdown. And you can see it from the offensive build, is the offensive mind of Rhett Lashlee. You're seeing it. And you're seeing them just get better and better. And then last week, we see them get better. We see a little bit of more of a complete game. The biggest thing is the coach. You just see them progressing. Look at our offensive line. Our offensive line was terrible last year. And this year, Coach Justice has these guys where they haven't allowed one sack yet. Like three games into this new season, and he hasn't allowed a sack. So I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing with the Canes. Obviously, things can still get better. We're looking great, and things can still get better. Like if our wide receivers can actually catch the ball, like our best receiver is Brevin Jordan. He's wide receiver 1.
Well, we knew Brevin Jordan was the All-American. We know who he was and what he could bring to the table. He was definitely going to be one of the players that are going to be on the spotlight this year because, he has first round written all over him, along with Greg Rousseau, who decided to opt out and whatnot, along with Quincy Roche, who is a first, borderline first, maybe second rounder. So there's plenty of talent. We knew what we were going to get out of Brevin Jordan. So it's no surprise that Brevin Jordan, the last 2 games, has just come on the scene, 3 touchdowns, 200 and something yards receiving. So there's no surprise here. So, the Canes start off as UAB. And I know I mentioned this in the video right before the Canes season started. I was really happy that the Canes were going to start against UAB. Why? Brand new offense, brand new basically new receivers with a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was new. So you kind of got to get the rust off. There was very limited spring. There was only got 4 spring practices, no scrimmages in the spring. And you kind of had to modify things in the fall camp, the 4 weeks or so leading up to to the season because, COVID and the restrictions that were given by the NCAA. So,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want, I know you kind of want to start off against Clemson, but I was like, you got to hold your horses on that because, you don't want to go up against a team that's actually been together. You got Travis Etienne there, you got Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so, you see what a quarterback does for you. And
absolutely.
Yes, Trevor Lawrence is the #1 recruit. Trevor Lawrence is the #1 pick. Everyone's trying to tank Trevor in the NFL. You can see the guy is elite. But right now, in a college football world, where we haven't seen Justin Fields, we haven't seen Trey Lance play, where they're going to play, I believe, in October, D'Eriq King is probably the #2 quarterback in the nation right now in college football. I'm not saying he's going to be an NFL pro. I'm not saying he's going to be the great in the NFL. But college-wise, in the spread offense and knowing the system that Rhett Lashlee runs, D'Eriq King makes this difference, man. And they simplify the offense for it, and you're now reaping the benefits of it, and it's great. It's great to see.
Yeah, because right now, speaking of the Heisman, D'Eriq King was, I think, #2 in the odds a week ago. Now he's considered the favorite as of right now. He's at plus 500. Trevor Lawrence is like plus 600. It's going to go back and forth all season.
Yeah, of course.
With UAB, what the Canes did was that, they kept running the same thing over and over. They were just running the ball. Mm-hmm. And they passed for a few times, and of course some drops and some whatnot. But we knew Lashley was not going to open up the playbook. We knew they didn't need to. Okay, The defense needed to get their feet wet. The offense needed to get their feet wet, especially the offensive line. They took a lot of heat last year, and rightfully so. And right now, they deserve a lot of praise, and rightfully so. Louisville, even Mark Richt picked Louisville to beat Miami, and Miami fans gave him hell about it. And Miami came out like gangbusters and were up, 17-6 before you knew it. I mean, they basically ran Louisville all over the floor. Louisville was gassed. The offense scored twice, back-to-back drives, one play, 75 yards. One was a pass, one was a run. They're able to do it. Why? Because Rhett Lashlee was able to call the right plays at the right time because of what he's been able to do. And yes, like you said, D'Eriq King makes a world of a difference because he has the experience from what he did in Houston, and him and Lashlee on the same page. And it's just going to open up more and more. And it's an exciting offense to see. Finally, we're here smiling because of the offense.
I know we're super offensive, like hungry right now. We're talking about the offense a lot. The biggest difference you see with this new offense, this not pro style offense, is that these guys, they get tackled or they go out of bounds, whatever it is, they pick up the ball and hey, let's
right to the line
up and go. FSU's after the first drive, all the linebackers had their hands on their knees. They were sucking wind. They have some big boys over there. They have the redshirt freshman or sophomore who's 6'4", 230. They have a bunch of men out there. They're still FSU. They're still going to recruit top talent in Florida. So they have some players, but they were gassed. They were done. And the defense was doing a great job of getting 3 and outs. The turnover chain came out a whole bunch. And hey, Bubba Bolden is showing that he's got talent. Bubba Bolden is showing that he should be in the league. Jalen Phillips is showing that he was the #1 recruit of that 2017 class. He's showing out. These West Coast guys that we're getting, they're showing, man. They're showing out. Nesta Silvera is finally living up to that hype. Silvera was dominant. Yo, he had 55 crying after the game, dude. And then tweeting him that, hey, daddy's home. This is what we need. This is what we've been wanting from the University of Miami to come back. This is the new age Canes. They're going to beat you, and they're going to laugh at you while doing it, and they're going to dance on you. They're going to show off now the new turnover chain. They're going to, and then we're going to go on Twitter, and we're going to talk about you some more. Like, this is the new age Canes, and this is the way it needs to be. Our defense, we've wasted 2 great defenses back-to-back years because of the offense. That's why we're so excited about the offense. But the defense, even with the lack of experience at linebacker, Zach McCloud's been up and down, but he's making some plays out there. Sam Brooks is coming in, getting some reps. Jennings is in there.
Was it Gilbert Frierson? I mean, that key is all over. He's tackle machine out there.
Yeah. But and Amari Carter, that Louisville game, and yo, he hits clean, man. He hits you hard and clean. Yeah, we're gonna miss Hall for the first half of the Clemson game, but hey, Bubba Bolden, Amari Carter, Al Blades is looking like a leader, man. I'm loving it, man. And if you're a high school recruit and you're sitting at home and you're here, you're upset that you can't play here your senior year with the whole COVID restrictions that's going on. But I don't know how you're a high school recruit and you're not excited to come play for either this defense or this offense. Like, I really hope Lashley can stay here some more. Like he's gonna get head coaching considerations soon.
Yeah, that was my fear with Manny. Back in after the first few years, I was like, oh, Manny's gonna get a head coaching job. He was here for 3 years, got the head coaching job at Temple. We all know how that played out.
Yeah.
Right now that's after only 3 games in. That's my fear with Lashley. He's gonna, it's good for him. I have no idea what his ambitions are. Usually, coaches want to become head coaches. Maybe that's not his ambition because. What we need is like a Rhett Lashley here that's here for like 30 years, like Bud Foster was a DC over in Virginia Tech. Just be here for 30 years, and just keep inventing the wheel here and just, unleash the athletes that you have down here in South Florida because, it's the ripest backyard you can find.
Yeah. And imagine what's gonna happen now when he starts getting his own guys, like the real recruits,
Yeah, agreed. Especially with the quarterback position. So the first 3 games, what has been your observation? Like, what has been what you liked? What has maybe you're like, I don't like it. They need to improve on it. What exactly is your likes and don't likes?
Well, if we're gonna nitpick, obviously the wide receiver drops. Before the season we were talking about. I thought Jeremiah Payton was gonna come out here and ball. He had a couple chances at UAB where he was overthrowing the ball in the end zone, but I think Jeremiah Payton still has the talent, and I think and he just needs the opportunity. I think Jeremiah Payton is that guy who's going to be there. Mike Harley has been a nice surprise. Mike Harley has been a really nice surprise. Mark Pope up and down. You got to catch the ball.
Yeah,
it's your job. You got to catch the ball.
I agree with you on the wide receivers there. That was my very first thing. It's a disappointing, but it's also something that they have to clean up because it's one thing to get away with some drops against a team that you're already dominating. You already have pretty much the game in the bag. But it's another thing. You can't do that against Clemson. You're not gonna be able to do that against North Carolina or against even a Pittsburgh team who has a pretty good defense. You can't do that. So. Mark Pope really has to catch the ball. Otherwise, he's going to see himself out as a starter and, back into a rotational player versus a starter, and next man up. And that's how it's got to be. He was my guy that I really wanted to come out. I was a big fan of him, this year. I really want him to succeed, and I still do. But I wouldn't be surprised if the coach, he muffs another punt or he drops another wide open ball. Mike Harley. Mike Harley had a TD drop with right there in the end zone, right in his hands. That's 6 points that were off the board. He had a drop pass in the game against FSU. He was coming right down the middle of the field, perfect ball, and he drops it. He catches that. That's either a big gain or he's running into the end zone because he can outrun the defender. Those are ones you got to have because in order to beat the good teams, in order to beat the teams that are much better than you have to be able to make those plays.
Exactly. Those are championship plays, man. And the lack of focus, maybe it's because there's no fans. Maybe it's I don't know what they're in their head. But yeah, against the good teams, against Clemson, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly, man. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. And this is what we need. We need you to step up. That's it.
So what has been your surprise? What has been the thing that you've liked the most that you're like, wow, this is like this is surprising. What have you liked?
Coach Justice and the offensive line.
Yeah.
Woo! I can talk about offensive line all day. But and I don't think anybody realized it because ESPN put the starting offensive lineman up there and had John Campbell still in the left tackle. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got hurt during pregame or what happened. Zion Nelson, our friend from last year, who gave up 1 million sacks and was a huge turnstile, got in there, started, and nobody knew about it. Why? Because he went in there, did his job, and protected Derek King's blind side the whole night. And nobody knew that Zion Nelson was playing left tackle against FSU. And we've had five different starting lineup, a different lineup every game. UAB, Clark didn't start that game. He started the Louisville game, and then we had John Campbell out against FSU for whatever reason. But and they're in there, hey, plug and play. Next man up, come in there, and we haven't allowed a sack. And it's great to see the progress. It's great to see, and it makes you think. We got Jalen Rivers, we got the high recruits over here that and they're just progressing. It's a coaching change that I'm loving, and it's got me excited. It's got me excited for this year, but you know what? It's got me more excited for next year. When we're back, like hopefully no more COVID restrictions, no more thing, and we're all in Atlanta, Labor Day weekend against Alabama, and hopefully Derek King says, my best playing days are going to be here at the U. I'm going to take the other year and come back and play for us. And I'm excited, man. I love it.
I do have to agree with you. I mean, it's easy to say Derek King. It's easy to say Cam Harris. And they deserve all the praise and credit. They do. But the one group that took the most heat last year was the offensive line, and rightfully so. And the one group that definitely deserves the praise and definitely deserves the credit to the success of the running game and a lot of this offense is that offensive line. So the heat they took last year is definitely the opposite of what they should be taking this year, because 0 sacks allowed, like you said, because any sacks that did happen wasn't because of them.
Yeah.
They've been able to produce. Cam Harris he's the top rusher or second rusher in the ACC right now.
And they're
averaging 232 yards.
Cam Harris was a 3-star from an undefeated Cal City team. I think he has 2 or 3 state championships. And the guy was a 3-star. He comes in here and he sat, he waited his time, he got his opportunity, and he just runs with it, man. I love Cam Harris.
Because of the offensive line, 232 averaging rushing, 266 passing. They're averaging 499 yards in offense, 75 plays a game. I mean, but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing is penalties. Where have you seen pre-snap penalties? Virtually, they virtually don't exist.
Non-existent.
I mean, they may have had 2 or 3 in the 3 games. I mean, you don't see the false starts. You don't see they're not lining up right, whatever. You're not seeing that. And that's a huge thing. The penalties that we are getting are just boneheaded penalties, like unsportsmanlike conduct or Jalen Phillips kicking a helmet, or those
are the penalties we want.
Yeah,
those are the aggressive penalties we want.
But little undisciplined. But you're not getting the false starts. You're not getting the illegal alignments or anything else along those offensive linemen.
Yeah, man, those are mental farts, and it's the show. It's a big show of maturity.
Yep.
And it's huge, man.
Agreed. So that's what we liked and didn't like in the first 3 games. Now we have the next 3 games before their second bye week. We have the next 3 games. We have at Clemson, we have Pittsburgh, and then Virginia at home. Okay. Obviously, the big primetime game, October 10th, is Clemson. That's, a game that everybody's got circled along with FSU this season because, hey, Clemson.
North Carolina. Don't forget North Carolina at the end.
Well, North Carolina's at the end, but we're not there yet. I might put that cart before the horse here. We'll get to them later on.
Yeah.
But, Clemson's coming up. We have the bye week coming up, and then it's Clemson, then the 3 games. So these next 3 games, and obviously including Clemson, what is it you would like to see? What is it you think is going to be the success of the Hurricanes against Clemson? If they're going to have a chance to beat Clemson, what is it going to take?
Obviously, we have to play a perfect game. Now, I would love to be super homer. And, being an all-Miami fan is great. The Dolphins got their first win. The Heat are in the finals. We're about to beat the Lakers in 6. The Marlins are in the playoffs. It's great to be a Miami fan right now, and I want to be cocky Miami fan, and I'm going to tell you that we're going to beat Clemson next week in prime time on ABC, but I don't need them to. I really don't. you want to see, this is the measuring stick game. We need to see how far we are from getting to Clemson's level. Are we 14 points away? Are we 7 points away? I want to say we're gonna go in there, we're gonna go to Death Valley, or we're gonna kick their ass at their own place. I would love to see that. But realistically speaking, I would rather lose this game, see where we stand and where we line up, and then kick their ass in the ACC championship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my reality. I'm not speaking with my heart, speaking with my brain. This is a measuring stick game for me. I want to see where we stand, especially coming off a bye. Manny Diaz's teams has been terrible coming off the bye. I think we lost to FIU coming off the bye. The Louisiana Tech game, we had a couple weeks off before we come out super unprepared. We come out like it's an immature team, and now we get to see what this team can do with a full 2 weeks to prepare. And let's see what you got, Manny. Let's see what you got, Lashley.
A reporter asked Manny, I forgot the exact questions, I'm kind of paraphrasing. He goes, what exactly is the toughest challenge coming up for the Hurricanes? And he goes, our toughest game right now is next week. And he's like, and they're like, it's a bye week. That's our toughest challenge right now. Our toughest challenger right now is a bye week. It's all due respect to Clemson. I'm kind of loosely saying what he's saying, but he's like, with all due respect to Clemson, they're number one team in the nation for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
But the bye week is in the bye week, and the focus of these players and how they're going to prepare. How this team is going to get prepared for an away game at Clemson. It's not even a home game; it's an away game at Clemson. So how are they going to prepare? And how they're going to go about their business. Now, hopefully the success of these first 3 games has really put into their mind saying, hey, you know what? We've got something real here. This isn't something, just some kind of fluke that happened. We got something real. We can actually beat it. I do believe right now that the Canes have a chance. Obviously, any team can beat any team at any time. We all know that. We've seen the biggest upsets. We've seen them. We heard them. However, okay, here's the thing is, Derek King, Cameron Harris, Rhett Lashley, the defense, I think they're going to be playing their hearts out. All right. And they're going to, and I do believe that the Canes are going to, as long as they can catch the ball and not have 8 drops in the game, if they can play as discipline-free football as possible, like not discipline-free, but like penalty-free, like they play as much discipline as possible.
Yeah, I get you.
Because you can't give up free yardage to a team like Clemson. You can't give free plays to Clemson. You can't just, give up, third downs and give them a first down or whatnot. You have to be able – this is a measuring stick to see where they are mentally. Yes, we understand that Clemson has his recruits and they have the depth on their team and they're the national champions 2 years ago and they've been the CFB. We know what Clemson is about. We need to know where Miami's at, like you said. And we need to know where they are mentally, because – it's going to say a lot about this team and how they prepare, and this coaching staff. And I do believe that with the leadership of Derek King, I think one of the things that happened on last year with offense is the immaturity, like you said, not only with the young guys in the offensive line, but also with the quarterback room.
Yeah, you had and I'm forgetting why am I forgetting the guy's name? The 15 from last year, our quarterback.
Jared Williams.
Yes, the guy went AWOL before the FIU game.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Like that's what we were depending on. Now you got a guy, Derek King, who I believe he lost his mom or his dad back in February. This guy's trying to make it into the league. He has Heisman hopes. Like, this guy's mature. Derek King's older than Tyler Hero. you know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is mature. He's in the right place. And you can just see it. Look at this. It's 20-3 with 12 minutes. It's 21-3 with 12 minutes left in the second quarter. Like, and they were still just like, hey, attack. And this is the type. This is what we need, dog. And we needed men finally. Like, we're not depending on true freshmen everywhere. Oh, speaking of true freshmen, that guy, the receiver, Reddy, he was pretty impressive.
He's going to get more playing time. He's going to get more playing time.
Yeah, I hope so.
True freshman, Jalen Knight and Don Chaney just.
Jalen Knight, I really like, and I know he was going to play big against FSU because I know he was committed to FSU before he came to the U.
Yep.
But against Clemson, Jalen Phillips, Quincy Roche, Silvera, You got the defensive line needs to go in there and put the front four pressure without blitzing, man. Pressure. If you can get to Trevor Lawrence every play without having the blitz, we will win the game. That's how the game will be won in the trenches. The offensive line continues their success. Obviously, they're not gonna not give up a sack the whole year, but the offensive line, if they keep playing the way they are, that will transfer into success. If our offensive line keeps playing the way they are, if our defensive line can put pressure without having to send linebackers, safeties, corners, and they can stay back and block, that is the key to success. The game is won inside out. It starts with the offensive line, starts with the defensive line, and that's how we beat Clemson.
If I'm Dabo Swinney, I'm doing everything I can to stop Brevin Jordan. If Derek King's going to beat me by throwing the ball, it's not going to be to Brevin Jordan. That's if I were Dabo Swinney. I say, you know what, Mike Harley, Mark Pope, or Redding, or Wiggins, whoever, if they beat me, they beat me. But I'm not going to let Brevin Jordan beat me. And that's just,
if you see
Harris, yeah.
That first drive against Florida State, they let Brevin Jordan. Remember the overthrow against in the beginning?
Yeah.
Brevin Jordan was uncovered. And then the touchdown he scored just right up the middle. The two safeties split to cover two, and Brevin Jordan is just wide open in the middle. How? Like, it doesn't make any sense there. But I'll tell you this. If I'm any defensive coordinator going up against Miami, I'm forcing you to pass. I'm sending 7, I'm sending 8 every play. The run is not going to beat me. So Derek King Derek King needs to be on point, and the receivers need to catch the ball. Because what I expect Clemson to do is to use all those 5 stars and 4 stars and corners, safeties, linebackers. Hey, you guys are going to play man-to-man on these guys, and you're going to have no safety help because we're sending everybody to that defensive line. Cam Harris is not going to beat me. Jalen Knighton, Don Chaney, they're not going to beat me.
I think it's going to be a very fun. It's going to be a very fun chess match here between Dabo and Lashley and Diaz and that defense. To see what Lashley, how they adjust, and I think it's going to be big time to see how this coaching staff does their first bye week. Leading up to a game like Clemson, and see how they do it and how they adjust and how they go about getting this team ready. And it's going to be very interesting. As long as they got to keep it close. I think if they keep it close enough, especially going to the fourth quarter, they keep it close, maybe 10 points or less. If they can keep it close and keep it respectable, that's what we could best hope for. But I do think that their chances of winning have drastically improved from the beginning of the season because we see what they are now. We see what they can do. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the Hurricanes are going to go there and, beat them up because look what we did the first 3 weeks. But I do think they're going to get – and I did say this in the beginning of the season. In the prior video, I think they're going to get – I don't know if I said it, but I know I've said it in previous conversations with other people. I said I think they're going to give Clemson a run for their money. I think they're going to give them a run for their money. I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I'm not saying they're going to only lose by a last-second field goal or by 1 point. I think they're going to give them a run for their – we're not going to lose 55-0 like we did before. We're not going to lose 38-3, whatever it was in the ACC championship game years ago. We're not going to lose that way. That's the way I know we're not going. We're going to give them a run for their money. And I think that if we can catch the ball, if we can play disciplined football and limit the amount of mistakes, minimize them, then Miami is going to be in every position to shock college football and potentially even win the game. They have that chance, but And
if we keep it close, what's to say that 5-star, 4-star recruit is not like, man, they're a me away from competing, and I want the turnover chain, and I want to play with that swag, and I want to be part of Rhett Lashley's offense, or I want to be part of Manny Diaz's defense. So all of these are statement games, Hey, we put FSU in their place, and what are we going to do during recruiting season when they finally allow the coaches and everybody to go back to the schools to go actually recruit again? Hey, you saw what we did to FSU. You saw what we did to FSU, what we did to UAB, what we did to Louisville. And look, Clemson, we're close, but we need you. Like, yo, sign. Where do I sign? If coach tells me that, hey, that you need me to go beat Clemson, let's go.
Yeah. There's a recruit on the Tennessee Volunteers. Let me pull it up right here. That's actually from Miami-Dade. and he's it's Terrence something. Let me get the name here. Terrence Lewis from Miami Central, 5-star outside linebacker. He's committed right now to the University of Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know who's been talking to the father, the coaching staff. You know what what the dad said? He goes, hey, if there's a spot for my son, there's a good chance he could become a kid. Like there's some good hints there that he may want to stay home. He may want to play for this team that they're gonna have this kind of success. Let me tell you something. Right now, it's trending on the Canes Twitter per se. On this like Twitter, but in the Canes sphere, getting what they call T2 or Terrence Lewis, getting him the 5-star linebacker. It's a good possibility. I would like to even. I would love to see. I don't know if he'll flip or not, but Jason Marshall, is it Jason Marshall,
the kid from South Dade, right? Or Palmetto.
Yeah, from Palmetto. He committed to the Gators. Maybe he's still in play. You never know. He sees what we're doing now. He's like, yeah, why do I got to go to Gainesville for? I could put on for the city. Yeah. You never know. Winning changes everything, and the way you win changes everything too. Dominating on defense, being able to score, being able to win games.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Exactly.
So we're only 3 games in. We still got another 8 more to go. We got some big ones here before the next bye week. You and I will get together again the next few weeks here to recap the games as well. Maybe right after Clemson, we'll do our best depending on our schedule here. We'll do our best here. But, if they win, I think we'll definitely be on here.
If they lose, we'll be there that night.
We'll be there that night. I'll go sleep over at your house.
Yeah. We'll go Instagram live or something, though.
Yeah, we'll have to do a live reaction there. But hey, Fernando, man, I really appreciate you coming on again and taking the time to talk. Enjoy the replay of that game there. And we'll get together again because it's a lot of fun. I love talking about the Canes. We could do this all night, but
hey, it's great to be a Miamian right now, baby. Go Canes, go Fins, go Marlins. Let's go Heat. Hey, it's a great time to be in the 305. You already know.
When was the last time we ever had something like this happen all at once?
Hey, we're killing COVID, man. We're killing COVID. That's what Miami is just doing COVID different.
We're giving COVID a la chancleta.
Appreciate you, though.
All right, man. All right, Fernando. Hey, take care.
All right, dog.